A woman lives across from the Iron Bridge power station in Telford, Shropshire, England. She's sitting, eating by candlelight during power cuts in 1972. There's a man wearing an external battery-operated heart pacemaker in New York in 1960. (1949) Children on the streets of Glasgow. Republican Party supporters and Democratic Party supporters are fighting with snowballs in front of the Capitol. It was January 1921 in Washington, USA. A Finnish strongman holds 2 rifles with his teeth in the 1930s. August 15th, 1934. There's a novel tea bar and it's shaped like a teapot right on Blackpool Beach. March 1938. 70-year-old Mrs. Elizabeth Arnold, who everyone believes is England's only woman blacksmith, is shoeing a horse outside the 400-year-old forge in Walmer, Kent. Manhattan, 1931. Albert Einstein at the World Fair in New York, 1939. Federico Caprilli is showing off his horse's skills as part of the Italian Cavalry School. This happened in 1906. A B-17 Flying Fortress of the 8th Army Air Force Bomber Command attacked the vital CAM ball-bearing plant and the nearby Hispano-Suiza aircraft engine repair depot in Paris on December 31st, 1943. There are crew members of the American submarine Tang during the rescue of a downed pilot near Truk Atoll in 1944. Jacob C. Miller was shot in the face during the Civil War. Incredibly, he survived, but bore an open wound for the rest of his life. There are women in bathing suits posing with a prize bull in Vancouver, 1927. On February 2nd, 1954, actress Hope Lang and diving instructor Chuck Dierksmeyer were diving off the Florida coast. Women marching for the right to vote, 1913. The Beatles are playing a rooftop concert with John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr. There's a crowd of people watching, plus their bandmates around them. A fake tree was used as an observation post and sniper nest on the front line by the British Army during World War I. The Most Dangerous Animal in the World, an exhibition in the Bronx Zoo during the 1960s. The Abercrombie & Fitch store in 1959 was located in a 6-story building. Inside, it had a variety of departments. There was a men's department, a women's department, a sporting goods department, and a gun department. Margaret Bourke White working atop the Chrysler Building, 1934. A Red Cross nurse and a rescue dog, World War I. A young boy runs after his father, a soldier marching off to war. This happened in New Westminster, Canada, on October 1st, 1940. An elephant attempts to use a phone booth, 1971. Senator Robert F. Kennedy is lying wounded on the floor. This happened just after he was shot by Sirhan Sirhan, a Jordanian man. Sirhan disagreed with Kennedy's backing of Israeli actions in Palestine. This took place in Los Angeles on June 5, 1968. Santa Claus is giving gifts to sick children in Chicago, 1909. The sports section is assembled in the composing room, getting ready to print the New York Times in 1942. Box beds, often carved and decorated, were the pride of their owners. In homes that usually had only one room, the box bed allowed for some privacy and helped keep people warm during the 1920s. A young Berber girl, wearing her traditional clothes, is from the Ouled Nail tribe in Algeria, North Africa. This was photographed by Leonard Landrock in 1905. A B-25 Mitchell bomber, similar to the one that crashed into the Empire State Building in 1945. This television set, which cost $100, is said to be the first receiver made in quantity that wasn't too expensive. It was shown publicly for the first time after the war at a New York department store on August 24, 1945. Sabina Chebeche, a Kenyan athlete, won a race in 1973. She was barefoot and wearing a dress. A woman waits for the hoops of her crinoline to be completed by a London dress shop in 1860. The Rolling Stones' Youth. Bob Ross, before he had his iconic hairdo, had short hair. Civil War veteran Samuel Decker is posing with the prosthetic arms he somehow made for himself. Tears streamed down the cheeks of accordion-playing Chief Petty Officer, United States Navy, Graham Jackson, as President Franklin D. Roosevelt's flag-draped funeral train left Warm Springs, Georgia, April 13, 1945. A United States Marine gives water to a stray kitten. They found it hiding under a knocked-out Japanese Type 95 Hago light tank. This happened on the Tarawa Atoll on November 24, 1943. Red, yellow, and green. Monsieur Lefebvre, one of the last surviving veterans of Napoleon's army, 1858. There's a huge swollen blister on a person's back from the 1910s. An oil derrick disguised as a Christmas tree in Huntington Beach, 1939. The irrepressible Australians at Anzac. An Australian is bringing a wounded comrade to the hospital. This happened during the Dardanelles campaign, around 1915. Italian soldiers are wearing the Adrian helmet in 1918. Here's what I've got about Queen Elizabeth II's wedding cake from 1947. The Vespa 150 TAP, an anti-tank scooter, was in Milan in 1956. Leonhard Seppala, a musher, used a sled dog team to bring serum to Nome during a diphtheria epidemic in 1925. The weather was too bad for planes to deliver the serum then. This is one of America's youngest newsboys. He is 4 years old. This was in Florida in 1913. An Italian iceman is selling ices to children in 1877. Tourists used to climb the Great Pyramid of Giza. They'd enjoy activities like sunbathing and tea parties atop one of the world's most iconic landmarks. A woman in motorcycling clothing, France, 1905. Freddie McIntosh, an 8-year-old, is wearing a sun protection suit. The boy has a very sensitive skin due to illness, which is affected by daylight. There's a Chinese woman at the beach in Florida during World War II. She displayed the Chinese flag so people wouldn't think she was Japanese. Anti-Japanese sentiment was extremely high after Pearl Harbor.
A boy is training his pet.
Makeup for the movie, Planet of the Apes, 1967. The motion of its props causes an aura to form around this F-6F on USS Yorktown. Rotating with blades, the halo moves aft, giving depth and perspective, 1943. Balloons float down Broadway in the 13th annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, November 25, 1937. Mirandajo, also known as the human pincushion, was a Dutch performer. He was famous for stabbing himself through his body with swords and knives in 1948. President Kennedy's casket was brought into the Capitol Rotunda on November 24, 1963. Approximately 250,000 people came to pay their respects. A long line of mourners stretched for nearly 4 miles. After the service, the casket was brought out of the Capitol. All right, let's talk about underwater detonation of a nuclear bomb. A nuclear weapon is detonated underwater. This process results in the formation of a rapidly expanding bubble of superheated gas. The bubble's initial size is surprisingly small, only about a few meters across. As the bubble expands, it pushes the surrounding water outwards at incredibly high speeds. The energy released is so intense that it creates a shock wave that radiates outward in all directions. The water near the explosion is instantly vaporized, and the pressure inside the bubble can reach many thousands of atmospheres. Thomas Sparrow, a 72-year-old bird taxidermist, lets his grandson Ted help him with his work. He keeps it in a broken-down shed at Sparrow's Lane in Eltham, London. There's a billboard that was posted outside of Oak Ridge, Tennessee. It was a town that was established as a manufacturing site as part of the Manhattan Project. A young woman is demonstrating a dimple maker machine. It's 1938. Edmund Kemper laughs as the detective who arrested him struggles to unlock his handcuffs. There's a dragon dance happening during Chinese New Year celebrations in Chinatown, New York City in 1957. Ahmed Ali Chelikdan, a man who is generally considered to be one of the first black pilots and perhaps the very first. A Ford Model T from the early 1920s. Dr. Moody Jacobs is showing a giant bruise on the side of his patient, Anne Hodges. She's the only person in history to have been struck by a meteorite, and this happened in 1954. They're saying goodbye at the train station before departing to World War II. A circus performer is wrestling an alligator inside a tank in Berlin, 1933. Morris Berg, who lived from 1902 to 1972, was an American baseball player, a linguist, a lawyer, and a spy during World War II. At the theater when smoking in public places was still a thing. There are two best friends around 1925. The store window is in New York in 1935. February 1933. A news vendor is selling the News Chronicle on Charing Cross Road, London. The headlines are about the result of a test match. The vendor has a dustbin labeled "Our Ashes" right there with him. A barrel of fun. It's the 1890s. There are several people, including a man in a dark suit and bowler hat. The man stands near a large wooden barrel. The barrel has an opening on one side. The man is smiling. Dentistry, China, 1920. In September 1955, as filming of Giant, the 1956 film, was coming to an end, James Dean got a Siamese kitten from co-star Elizabeth Taylor, who he had befriended during the film's shooting. Rocky Dennis and his mother. Imagine a human standing next to the jaws of a megalodon. The year was 1916. The megalodon's jaws were absolutely massive, easily large enough for a person to stand inside. The first aerial photo ever taken was captured by James Wallace Black from a hot air balloon high above Boston. The opening ceremonies at Woodstock began. There was a welcome from Chip Munk, the stage manager. He announced it was going to be a 3-day festival of music and peace. He then introduced Richie Havens, who was supposed to be the third act. However, due to traffic, the other acts were delayed. Richie Havens took the stage and began to play. There's a man floating in the Dead Sea, and he has a book and an umbrella. This was in 1920. In London, the double-decker buses went through a tilt test to prove they wouldn't tip over in 1933. The royals are in a carriage at a Trooping of the Colour ceremony. It's at St. James's Palace in London on the 5th of June, 1933. Before Google, homework was quite a different ballgame. Students had to hit the library, and that's where they'd spend hours. They'd be flipping through books, searching through encyclopedias to find the information they needed. It was a real deep dive. Sometimes they'd have to write letters to experts or specialists to get answers. Research papers took a lot of time and effort. You could find a lot of useful stuff in the World Book Encyclopedia or the Encyclopedia Britannica. They were basically the go-to resources. And then there were the card catalogs. Those were important too. You'd be scribbling notes using a pen or maybe a pencil and writing everything down. It was a slower process, that's for sure. Don't try this at home, 1910s. Two young girls are playing with a dollhouse. It's the 1850s or 1860s. British actress Diana Rigg, also known as Olenna Tyrell from Game of Thrones, was born in 1967. The police disguised themselves as women to catch a purse snatcher in the 1960s. There's a massive steam train boiler explosion. The locomotive is wrecked. The explosion took place on the shore. The boiler has completely blown out, and there are enormous pieces of the locomotive scattered everywhere. The devastation covers a huge area. Debris is all over the place. The train seems to be spewing a lot of steam, even after the explosion. Millions Like Her, Birmingham, 1951. A black child picks the white doll after being asked which doll he prefers. This happened during the doll test. Married doctors Kenneth and Mamie Clark gave it in the 1940s to test the effects of segregation on children in the United States. A couple is ice skating on Whitestone Pond in Hampstead, London in 1933. The picture was taken by Philip Jones Griffiths in Vietnam in 1968 during the Battle for Saigon. The American GIs often showed compassion toward the Viet Cong. The U.S. Capitol building dome was under construction in 1857. The people who designed London's famous double-decker buses said that there was no risk of the bus falling over. This was in London in 1933. A British airman is smiling for the camera. He's about to board a ship, leaving France and heading to England. This was around 1940. The ship's mascot, a baby magpie, is perched on his cap.